Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Jeremy and this is Taylor Tips. Welcome back, and if this is your first time, thank you for visiting with me today. This week's message, today's tip, is get involved. Let me begin by saying this though. I was one of those guys when I was teaching that I was always complaining year in and year out. This group of freshmen is the worst we've ever had. They're disrespectful, they're entitled, bunch of heathens, don't listen to anybody, don't respect nobody, right? And while that may be true, while that may be the case, I realized that I was spending a lot of time complaining, condemning, right? Criticizing, instead of taking an active role in participating in the miracle process of change and helping develop the next wave of leadership in our country, in our school systems, in our society, in our world even. And so my suggestion for you is to consider how can you become more involved with where you're at with what you have. You know, I firmly believe, and this is no knock against anyone who's older, and I'll leave older up for your interpretation. I'm not going to say a number and then get bashed for saying a particular number is old. But I will say that I do believe wholeheartedly that, number one, you can teach a dog new tricks, but it is much easier to shape younger people and mold younger people than it is to change people who are set in their ways. It's easier to construct, right, younger people than it is to reconstruct older people. And so my challenge for you is to consider how can you become more involved where you're at to help develop the new level of leadership that's in your community. You know, you could be a dad that says, you know what, tonight I'm gonna close up shop early and actually enjoy the World Series Game 7 with my son. Or you could be a mom who's maybe discombobulated with all the details in life, and maybe tonight it means hanging out at the house and slowing down long enough to enjoy a meal with the family at the kitchen table versus scrolling through social media to look at all the different things that you wish your life looked like. You know, you could be an individual who needs to consider taking on a role as a volunteer coach, you know, with the soccer league in your community. You know, maybe helping with the Boys and Girls Club wherever you're at. Maybe instead of going on a mission trip or thinking that going on a mission trip is going all the way across the world to a third world country to work with underprivileged kids and share the gospel, what if it's actually being the gospel in your community with an inner city mission, living life on mission where you're at? You know, I'll tell you this. Jayla and I recently, we made a decision to relocate. And part of the motivation in doing that was so that we could actually have a little bit more time and influence our younger siblings, our little cousins, our nieces a little bit more. And I'll tell you this, that that decision isn't for everyone, because maybe you don't have siblings, or maybe you have a burden on your heart and you're called to a particular place that separated yourself from your family for a particular time. But during this season of our life, this is the decision that Jayla and I made because we wanted to influence our younger family members and be in their life and be present a little bit more than what we were used to. Now, I'll tell you this, social psychologists say that Jayla and I come from broken families. Well, we choose to call it a beautifully blended family. You know, we have half siblings and step siblings and full biological siblings, family members here, there, and everywhere. And so while we can't spend equal amount of time with all of our siblings and make everyone happy, and our families honor that and respect that, we've had some tough conversations before, but at the end of the day, Jayla and I just decided we're going to make a conscious effort to just be as involved as we can. And that's all we can do, you know. And so in closing, I'll simply ask you to consider, how can you be more involved in developing the leadership where you're at, influencing young people for the betterment of society, for the betterment of culture? Because truth be told, if we sit back and we allow culture to develop our next wave of leadership, then we're doomed. We know that we're headed for trouble. And so I'll close by posing one more question, but in that question, kind of painting a picture for you. What if our younger people their heroes, the people that they looked up to the most, the people that they revered, respected, admired, what if those people were the people that were inside their home every day? What if those people were the people that were actually in their community, spending time with them, their teachers, their coaches, their church members? What if that were the case instead of the people that they looked up to only being the people that they observe via social media or read about on the internet or watch on the television? So with that being said, I'm going to close this thing down and just encourage you to get involved where you're at. You don't have to add a bunch of stuff right on your to-do list. I'm just asking you to consider, how can I get more involved with being an active participant in changing culture for the better by using my influence to develop the younger leaders in my area. I hope this tip finds you well, serves you well. And as always, to dream is to do. Nothing happens until something moves. And if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Take care. I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Let's grow. Hey guys, it's me again. Thanks so much for checking out my latest video. And would you do me two favors? One, if you like the content here, subscribe to my channel so you can continue to get all the fresh updates as I drop new content and new videos, Taylor tips, and answer various different questions, and even some content with my lovely wife Jayla. And number two, go to my website, jeremyataylor.com, browse around, submit a contact form request, and just introduce yourself. I like to get some feedback on my website, learn what people like best about it. But also, you'll have an option there to subscribe to my mailing list. And so by doing so, I'll give you a free gift. I just recently published an ebook called The 5 Reasons Why You Need a Mentor. Now, I'm not saying that mentor has to be me. I'm just saying that in order to get where we really want to go in life, everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs a great coach. You know, no one really achieves greatness without intentionality. And certainly no one become their best by accident. So why not learn from people who have decades of experience, maybe growing through some things in their life that can help you avoid some mistakes along your way and potentially expedite your growth. But at the end of the day, as we travel down the road of significance, it certainly requires throwing the rope back, so to speak, and helping someone else up along their way. So that said, take care, and we'll see you next time.